It's been 2 months since my last Hytale video, and in those past 2 months, Hytale has actually released a little bit of information. We've started to get the announcements of Ask Hytale, where Budacat asks a bunch of Hytale developers questions from the community, and we even got sort of release plans, if you can put it that way, in a tweet by John Hendricks. My name is Chris, welcome back to the CanadianFlash channel. If you're new here, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the video. Enjoy. I'm not going to leave you guys hanging here. We're going to talk about these subtle release plans for Hytale right now. And this comes from a tweet from Psychomelon44 on Twitter asking the game director John Hendricks if it could be possible to release the content creation tools for Hytale before the game launches so a solid foundation of user-generated content can be built up. And this is pretty much an Ask Hytale question, except not in the Ask Hytale form. And John Hendricks did reply to that, saying, yes, we will be releasing tools ahead of launch, but expect them to go out in rings, a term we use for increasing group sizes. First ring will be a small group with heavy support, then broader groups as our content tools mature. So, that's pretty interesting information, and John Hendricks goes a little bit more in detail on what those rings mean. And this is the first time ever, this was April 11th, so about 11 days ago, the first time we've ever heard of anything having to do with rings. We knew there was going to be a content creation program, but we didn't know anything about these rings here. And John Hendricks gives us a little bit more of an inside information on what these rings mean. John says, a simple overview of the rings. Internal teams and external small groups that give feedback. That is the first ring. I believe that is already done and dusted. I'm pretty sure they've already done that. I mean, that's probably just them and maybe Riot testing the game. Then they have external group plus user testing, which I believe they already have done as well. In a video I made a couple months ago, 9 months ago actually, called Hytale has begun testing their game. They did have an external playtest, and I believe that was covering a blog post, that video. Then they have expanded external groups. I personally believe this is probably what they are on now, maybe with a little bit of the ring before with the external group testing. I believe they're on this stage right now. This is them trying to move on into the full new engine. Then we have the beta, and then they have the launch. So, out of all these groups, like I said, I believe we are in the expanded external groups phase, or maybe just the user testing. We're not really too sure. I would like a little bit more confirmation on this. If John Hendricks would really love to do that, that would be a great Ask Hytale. But damn, guys, we are getting close. I'm not going to say the game is coming out tomorrow, because it's not, but damn, I think we're already halfway done this area. And then after, obviously, we have the beta and the launch, which obviously I think everybody knows what the beta and launch is going to entail. It's going to entail the game, and who knows what'll be with the beta, what'll be with the launch, but who knows. Like I said, I would like a little bit more clarity on this topic here. But guys, okay, it's looking good. It's looking good, I'm just saying. The Hytale team has also started answering the Ask Hytale questions, which is pretty exciting because we got information on what Ask Hytale was going to be in December last year. I believe this is actually on the Thankmas date. Shout out to Thankmas. We got a total of 7 of them. I'm just going to be pulling them up on screen for you guys right now so you guys can read it and talk a little bit just about each question. So the first one was about a person's right to play and the accessibility options of Hytale, and they said pretty much everything's going to be accessible, you know. It's Hytale. I assume it's modern gaming, guys, so I assume it's going to be as modern as accessibility options as you can possibly have. So good job, Hytale, for that one. The next one, this is answered from Dan Webster, the technical designer. This is for ECS and Flex, which is the backbone of Hytale's game engine. It allows them to build a varied gameplay supporting the vision of creators. And ECS and Entity Component System helps the game just pretty much run better. It's really awesome. The next Ask Hytale question is one of those ones you can answer with yes. This is from Tag, the design director of Hytale, and this is a question, and this is an answer relating to a question where it says, will there be a tutorial mode in Hytale? It's going to be a yes and question here, and it says we don't think about tutorials, we think about how we welcome players to become avatars in the universe of Hytale. Our initial onboarding needs to teach you what it is and what it means to be an avatar and how your powers can differ. So that's pretty cool. Get ready for that. Everybody, I think Hytale will probably have, like I said, a small tutorial. I don't want him to teach me every little aspect of the game, but just a little, you know, this is how you move forward with the W key on a keyboard or the arrow keys. Some little small things like that, you know, little guides that'll move us into how to do stuff in Hytale. Maybe like use E to open your inventory or chest or something like that. Was a question from Archie on Twitter. It says, when it comes to combat, will there be any sort of counters besides blocking, such as parrying or dodging? This is from the senior competitive designer, new member of the Hytale team, X Sundown. He follows me on Twitter, by the way. Shout out Sundown. And he says, absolutely. Combat works best when there's a variety of key options available to the player, and each of them has its positives and drawbacks. We want to allow the players to be able to express themselves via how they decide to engage combat. What equipment they bring also plays a role. It's fun when players use equipment and abilities to craft their personal approach to combat. I completely agree with that. I want to see so many people try so many different aspects of combat, because in Minecraft it's just use an axe and a shield and you're pretty much overpowered. I want to see players use daggers. I want to see players use swords, long swords, war axes, battle axes, spears, crossbows, whatever the heck you want to fight with. I want everyone to beat everybody at pretty much any time with any weapon. I think that'll be so awesome. Next one is a question from Versokane. I'm sorry, I'm terrible pronouncing names. One question I have is, I know that the whole idea of a game is to be player made and community updated, but I was wondering if y'all's development plan to update the game in the future after launch is to add new content. And this literally just means future DLC down the line, or a content update, like here, new mob here and there. And Goblin, the game designer, shout out Goblin, says, while Hytale will definitely feature the incredible, beautiful, and mind-blowing creations we're hoping our amazing players will make with our tools, you can rest assured that there will be plenty of original adventure game modes and surprises from the team. So yes, they will have updates in the future. I mean, that's pretty obvious, but yes, they're going to have updates in the future. Here we go. We got John Hendricks with an Ask Hytale question here from Poggle. I think he's a Hytale new staff member still. Poggle says, this is a bit extreme, but how unlimited is your modding going to be, since that it'll be a make or break for the game for me? And John Hendricks answered this with yes. And obviously on screen you can read what else he has to say. Yeah, he literally answered with yes, guys. That's kind of crazy. This is the second to last Ask Hytale, I believe. This was from Hawkon, and he says, are the crafting stations themselves being tied to a progression? Think Terraria or Valheim, where you need to improve your stations to improve your gear. This was answered by Sean, the principal design director of Hytale, and he says, you should certainly expect to get access to more and better crafting stations as you progress further as a player. That's absolutely huge. So it's not just going to be you can craft the most overpowered sword in the default crafting table. This means you guys will have to make a better crafting table to craft most overpowered sword. Maybe with the default crafting thing you can make like a wood sword, but you're not going to be able to make like the Varan gravity arm or something absolutely insane like that. And actually, I believe those are all the Ask Hytale questions. I don't know if I missed any. I might have. I'm not too sure. I don't think I did. I think there's only 7. But yeah, let's move on to the next part. Just want to say, guys, the Hytale podcast is under 20 subscribers away from 1,000. We are so close to getting to 1,000. If you don't know what the Hytale podcast is, it is a podcast with myself and mine. You know, not mine. He makes a YouTube channel as well. We are the 2 hosts of the Hytale podcast. We talk about Hytale every single week. We answer viewer questions, recap all the news in the Hytale community. If you guys want to subscribe to that, never heard about it, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot. We're so close to 1,000. This is actually a tweet from John Hendricks, actually released yesterday when they were talking about Quebec Corner's birthday. Shout out Connor, happy belated birthday. It was last week. I forget what day, but it was last week. And John Hendricks said, happy belated birthday. Orbis will have different traditions and holidays than Earth, which makes sense, but I imagine some of those will overlap in a fun way. Yeah, I can see things like Easter, Halloween. I mean, we already know they do Halloween postcards. Maybe, obviously, Christmas, Halloween, probably Valentine's Day. They celebrated Earth Day in the past, which is actually today, by the way. And he said the capital will certainly reflect seasonal events as avatars bring their experiences to share. And I wouldn't be surprised as well if Hytale does have their own like in-game like holiday themed cosmetics, like a witch hat or a Santa hat for Christmas, witch hat for Halloween, all that stuff. And with that being said, everybody, that's all the news I have for you today. If you guys are new here and you like Hytale content every month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months, whenever I decide to upload a video, hit that like button, subscribe once I said, to the Hytale podcast, the greatest podcast on the face of the earth. And with that being said, see you guys next time.